What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld Podcast, and we're going to be touching base on Monday Night Football with the Niners and the Browns. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on, but the Cleveland Browns have been very, very disappointing, as you guys can imagine. But the 31-3 loss, there was a lot of different things that went on in the game. Namely, I guess we could probably all say at this point that Freddie Kitchens probably was better off at just doing, like, I don't know, maybe the interim head coach, when he came in after they fired Todd Haley and who's the other bum coach, Hugh Jackson? When that happened, it looked like Baker Mayfield was going to probably be very, very prolific with anybody else other than Hugh Jackson. But it wasn't all about the fact that Baker Mayfield was, throwing the ball a little bit, crazy, he had a couple of interceptions. That one that was tipped with Callaway, it wasn't all on Baker Mayfield though. The problem was his O-line could not block anybody. All right, so when people start to evaluate quarterbacks, I know it's like easy to be like, all right, yeah, Baker, whatever, and it's easy to jump on a team, pretty much when it's like, all right, these guys are not doing what they said they were going to do. OBJ, Landry, these guys, 27 yards receiving for OBJ. Like, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke when you watch it, but I think we need to start to gear more towards the 49ers are for real. Now, I tweeted out at GmiasWorld on Twitter to kind of ask some of my people, like, are the 49ers really that serious? Like, I didn't understand why people were going so crazy about the 49ers defense. I understand the whole Nick Bosa thing. There's a couple other studs there, but watching the game on Monday Night Football was actually, like, that was the first 49er game that I watched in its entirety, and I was very impressed defensively by them. Now, Sherman looks like he's like a lockdown corner again. It's like kind of weird because you see a guy, he has all these injuries, everything that's going on, and you're like, it's no way he's going to be able to do the things that he used to do. But I was very, very surprised. Like, overall, I'm impressed, man. Like, if you're a 49er fan right now, like, you guys should be very, very happy with what you're looking at, because no matter what happens in the NFL, even with the new rules where you can barely touch anybody, you can't sack people, you can't do anything, you still got to have a good defense regardless with all that stuff and be able to go around and counter everything else that makes it, something that you could be penalized for. And that's what I respected most about the 49ers. All their turnovers, the way that they rushed the passer. Nick Bosa was running to 2 to 3 people. You know what's weird about that? I just wanted to bring that up. It kind of reminded me of what people think of Aaron Donald. I don't know if you guys got that when you were watching it. We're not going to worry about him planting the flag and him worrying about college and what Baker Mayfield did to him in college and all that stuff. We're going to focus about the fact that it was several times this game they switched him to D tackle. They had him at end. They moved him around. It was wild, and nobody could block him. Like, he was literally at some points unblockable. So if you were a quarterback, let me just ask you guys that are going wild about the Browns. If you guys are quarterbacks or you're familiar with playing the position, and your center hikes the ball to you, and then Nick Bosa's in your backfield, bro, like, he's just right there. I don't know what you expect him to do. It's like he's not Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why when people ask, like, Jemiah, what do you think about Russell Wilson? When you look at the years that this man has had, even like Deshaun Watson, where the O-line is like, oh, you want to come in? All right, I'm a turnstile. Come right in. When you look at things like that, it becomes increasingly ridiculous for certain quarterbacks to survive. Because realistically speaking, most quarterbacks like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, these guys that played, obviously Tom Brady's still playing, but that played successfully in the league, they had decent blocking. They were able to at least be able to make a read, get the ball out quick, whatever. They were able to do certain things. Baker Mayfield is not going to be able to get the ball out if Nick Bosa's hanging out in the backfield. And then what's worse about it is they're rushing 4. What do you got? Do you guys remember what happened with the Patriots? Let me go ahead and let's talk about the Patriots real quick. When the Patriots lost to the Giants both times in the Super Bowl, right? It was mainly because they were able to rush 4 and lock up the back end, right? So when you lock up the back end and you're able to successfully, completely just make sure that nobody is getting open, like what they did. Pretty much Landry had a couple catches, OBJ, it's a lockdown show. Because you have the 7 guys, like, you got the 4 rushing, you got the 7 guys, and then you just play different variations of coverage. They played a lot of different, they played man sometimes, they played zone. They just made it very, very uncomfortable. And it was very, very hard for Baker Mayfield to be able to make a decision very quickly because you just can't. And that's what, like, I want to make sure that when people are going crazy on him, that they analyze it. Because I saw a lot of feeds where it's like, Baker Mayfield is who we thought he was. You're making fun of him, whatever like that. I don't know if it's Freddie Kitchens and the offense now, because some people come in and it's sort of like Bruce Arians when he took over in Indianapolis before he got I think it was him, right? That took over in Indianapolis. And it was great stuff. And then, he wasn't too good as a head coach when he went to another team right away. And then right now, where is he at? He's with the Bucs right now. And you need time to kind of figure out what's going on. So interim coaches that go into, that head coaching job, sometimes it's not a very, very easy transition. And I don't really, it's very, very difficult to kind of assess what the Browns are going to be going forward. Because in my opinion, even when you look at the defense, the turnovers were putting the defense in very, very bad position. So they're going to run the ball like they did and do whatever they want. They got Breida, they got Coleman. They're going to run the ball in those situations. They're going to get those yards. They're going to score. You're not going to stop this team from scoring in these ridiculous situations where the Browns are turning the ball over. But Callaway was hit right in the hands. You know what I'm saying? Was he doing like substance abuse? I don't know. He just came back. They were talking about it. I'm like, this dude's getting high, and then he's high during the game, and then he can't catch the ball. It's just so many things that were going on that were just wrong as far as the Browns go. But like I said, I don't want to make it all about the Browns. You have to understand, when I'm critiquing and I'm watching a game, I'm trying to analyze, I'm not really worried about the fact that one team that was supposed to be successful is not. I'm worried about the team that's beating the brakes off of them. And that's where the 49ers come in. Because this is a team where Garoppolo, I think he had, what did he have, 2 touchdowns, 181 yards, something like he wasn't really spectacular, but he doesn't need to be. When you have a defense like that that's always in the backfield, Baker Mayfield fumbling, it's a pick, it's all kinds of stuff, you just have to make sure you make that right throw when it's necessary. And that's all you really need to be successful in the NFL. You don't need anything else outside of that. So when you look at the capabilities of what these players have, when you come to the 49ers, just imagine what's going to happen. Because as I was watching this game, let me know if you guys agree. I was thinking the Giants. I was thinking Strahan, all those dudes on the line, those savages, Tuck, rushing for and just having your corners and your safeties play out of their minds, the linebackers taking away the middle reads. That is very, very hard for any quarterback to be able to deal with. And we saw it happen twice. The greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. I don't know if you guys agree. If you guys agree, let me know in the comments that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. I don't think he's the greatest player ever. I think he's the greatest quarterback ever based on the feats that he's accomplished. But if he couldn't do it against this same defense that Baker Mayfield just went up against, what do you guys expect from Baker Mayfield? That's my question to you guys. When you look at it like this, now I understand that you still have to find a way to win. We bring up Russell Wilson. He was able to do a lot of different things like that. But I didn't expect him to be able to get around all the stuff that was going on, because you got your 5-0 lineman that's right there. They're sending 4 dudes, and Nick Bosa is just running straight through the backfield to you. So, again, it was unfair with the way that his O-line just didn't care about him. Maybe he didn't take him out to dinner. I don't know what happened, but they played very, very horrifically. And, going forward, they're obviously going to have to figure that out. But I've seen now that a lot of teams are doing it. The Colts just did that to Patrick Mahomes. You rush for and take away the first read and just don't get beat over the top. That's the formula to beating everybody now. But it's the 4 pass rushers. It's those guys that can also stop the run. Because remember, Chubb got a couple run breaks, you know what I'm saying? He was doing whatever in a couple sets, but he wasn't able to really break that big one. You know what I'm saying? So they're good against the run, but they're excellent when it comes to pass rush. So it's a very, very unbalanced thing when you come to the Browns, because you have 2 pretty good receivers in OBJ and obviously Landry. Njoku being out doesn't really help the situation, because that was a guy that was, pretty much his safety blanket. But when you look at overall what everybody is doing now in the league, they're getting 4 dominant pass rushers and just playing out of their mind in coverage. That's pretty much what it is. So overall, it was a completely embarrassing loss. If we continue to see Baker Mayfield play like this regardless, then I will start to look at it and say, you know what, guys, you're right with this, you're right with that. But last night, like I said, I can't really go too hard, bro, because I don't think that, Tom Brady would have lost last night to the 49ers. So you know what I'm saying? The 49ers would have definitely beat him. It's not even a question in my mind. So that's where I am with it. Congratulations to the Niners on the win. Remember, you guys can always listen on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and on Androids. Until next time, have a great day. One love.